We're joined on INSEAD Knowledge by Renato Orsato, Senior Research Fellow at INSEAD. You've just brought out a book, Sustainability Strategies. When does it pay to be green? When does it pay to be green?
It's important to understand that this is a very broad question, and you actually need to qualify it. So in order to understand or to identify when it pays to be green.
But first, you are saying it does pay to be green.
It does pay to be green, but we need to restore a little bit of a balance because we came from the time in which, let's say in the 90s or early 90s, in which people, in particular academics and managers, thought that it does not pay to be green or never pays to be green, to the early 2000s that many books, many people are saying that it always pays to be green. So the issue here is that there are conditions to be satisfied for companies to obtain returns on eco-investments.
What sort of conditions then?
Well, first, obviously, there is the broad context in which the company operates. A company putting an eco label in a product in Sweden possibly has better chances of getting returns than in some specific markets in Latin America or Africa. Without making any judgment about it, the thing is that the context, the type of markets, type of consumers would make a big difference. We have many types of eco-investments. You could have an investment that relates more to reducing the impact of organizational processes, for instance, reducing the emissions of factories, which is a classic view. Most people understand environmental investments in those aspects. Or you have many other possibilities of reducing the environmental impact of products or services. So you need to qualify this. You have to be very specific what you're talking about. And then you have also to consider the timing that it might pay to be green in a longer period of time. It also might generate returns in forms of intangibles, reputation, in forms of the branding, So you need basically to qualify the question to be able to answer it.
Just to step back a bit, what sort of eco-investments are you thinking of in the book?
You can have investment that only relate to internal aspects, or only you know that you're making them, reducing the certain energy consumption of certain equipment. Or you can have several other investments that relate to products or services. For instance, we mentioned before, eco-label is an example, but you have several types of standards, product declarations. We need to establish a balance. There are certain investments that you have to make just because your competitor also made it. They became licensed to operate. If you want to sell toilet paper in Scandinavia, for example, if you don't have an eco-label, you are out of the market because all products have an eco-label. So having an eco-label is not a differentiator. So what I do in the book is to first to see what the examples that we have from New Zealand, from Brazil, from Sweden, from the United States, and see if they work or not and why. And then bring this into a type of analytical reasoning that can eventually help other managers to do similar things or to avoid the pitfalls of those who didn't succeed.
Your book outlines 5 main strategies for dealing with sustainability issues, such as eco-branding. What sort of advice would you have for managers who are seriously looking at this issue?
Well, first you have to establish a clear level of ambition for your strategy. Many of them would relate to existing markets, existing industries, and simply becoming better player in the market, obtaining some competitive advantage out of environmental investments. But you also need to be very specific in which type of eco-investment you want to invest and why. I mean, and why would depend very much on the kind of pressure you are having. If you are targeted by eco-activists, then maybe it's not enough to be eco-efficiency. It's not enough to reduce your impacts. You have to show, you have to dialogue with these people and make them understand or value what you're doing. So it's not a question, especially in the environmental domain and even in the CSR, is less a question of what you do, and more a question of the perceived value that stakeholders give to what you do.
The consumer will be thinking, I've got to pay a price premium for this. Is that always the case, that there is always a premium involved?
As in any other niche market, there is only a small minority of consumers who are willing to pay price premium. If your investments or if your initiatives inside a company or to do something to improve the performance of your product result in higher costs, obviously one way is to pursue the avenue of differentiation. But this is by the very nature of differentiation is small. So what is possible and what maybe is more difficult is actually to be the leader in terms of costs and low environmental impact. And you do have examples around the world of companies who succeed in doing that. But for that, you have basically to think in a different way about your product. You have to pursue, for instance, what the academics call dematerialization. Eventually, you have to reduce your costs by substituting material or eliminating them. Or you can use different ways of delivering your products or transforming them into services rather than products. So there are possibilities, but obviously is a bolder strategy. You need to be more aggressive in the innovation process inside the company.
Just finally, who is the book targeted at? Are you aiming this at managers?
Well, yes. Well, there's a lot of experience in the book because it's based on case studies collected around the world. But I also try to put this, to link these stories with some theoretical framework, departing from the strategic management. Try to learn what Michael Porter did in terms of competitive advantage in existing markets, and also what Professors Keane and Malborn did in the blue ocean. We can find empirical examples of both, let's say, strategies. And so I apply the principles of strategic management to the realms of sustainability. So although managers will find lots there to reflect about their own business, I believe that MBAs and academics in the field also can profit from the book.
Renato Orsato, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.